All right, let's go Buffalo Bills at San Francisco 49ers. Being played in Arizona. It's, you know what I want to do to get ready for this game?
No.
Go back to 1992.
Oh, God.
What? At least 10 of our listeners want to hear about the Jim Kelly, Steve Young 1992 shootout, Bills 49ers.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I see the teams and I think about the old school. Isn't it crazy that the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times and never played the 49ers back in the early 90s?
Is it?
All right, you want to talk about this week, Sam? All right, fine.
It was like, I mean, it was a little bit after the 49ers heyday, right? It was the Dallas time.
Well,
at that
I have
point.
the leeway on the PFF NFL podcast daily when we have the daily show to just, reminisce about 1992 stuff if I want.
Well, this is going to be a shorter form podcast, so it would have to be a topic dedicated solely to that. We don't have time for you to just start musing randomly about Jim Kelly.
It'll be a quick hitting Jim Kelly versus Steve Young shootout, analysis.
Isn't it wild that they went to the Super Bowl 4 times and never played the 49ers? Well, no, because it was in the middle of the Dallas dynasty.
Yeah, but the Niners were still in the middle of their run as well.
The Niners kept losing in the NFC Championship game to Dallas.
Right, so there was a lot of times that it could have been Buffalo and the Niners in the Super Bowl, and it just never matched up. Never happened.
All right.
Anyway, this week,
yeah,
Josh Allen and the Bills traveling back to Arizona. This benefits Josh Allen because anytime you throw him into an indoor environment, we might be able to see him throw the ball 80 yards. That's my thing.
Plus, he's already played there.
He did.
He's got used to it now.
And he didn't have a great game that day, but he had one of the best. He had the big time throw of the week, which was the potential game winner.
Yes.
Before the Hail Murray.
The Hail Murray. The nomadic San Francisco 49ers now, who have had to pack up their entire organization and basically just set up shop in Arizona until they're allowed back into their home state to function because of COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk to Adam Schefter later in the show.
Oh, I forgot to tease that.
Right. Well, I just did it for you. We're good.
Here.
We're going to talk to Adam later on, and the whole COVID world came up a lot, and how much the NFL is just gung-ho on getting this done, right? And this is another example that the 49ers have basically been barred from functioning in their home state, so they just up sticks, move across a border. Let's roll this thing into Arizona and see how we can go.
Schefter did a good job. He answered my question about what was the difference between the Broncos game last week and the Steelers and Ravens game. He did a really good job, I think, of laying out the NFL's theory on COVID and how to handle it and what they're trying to achieve. Niners last week, okay, so they pull the upset against the Rams. You still don't have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, so I think in any given week, as well as Nick Mullins can play at times, I still have more faith in Jimmy G when he's healthy. So
Sure.
It feels tough to invest in the Niners, and it also feels like every single week your magician there, Kyle Shanahan, is trying to whip something up, and how are we going to do it this week? How's he going to do it this week against the Bills? Deebo Samuel was an absolute monster last week, and I think that was a huge part of their ability to move the ball offensively.
Yeah, to me, pretty much every Bills game is now watching what happens with Josh Allen. He was so incredible early in the season. I signed the Josh Allen apology for him. You ripped it up. And then he went on a bit of a wobble. He had a few games that were the way he used to play, more inconsistent, more scattershot, a little bit less dominant overall. And then, one really good game against Seattle. But that's now, 5 out of 6 games since the apology form have basically not been great. Or at least I think bear more resemblance to old Josh Allen than the start of the season Josh Allen. And, I'm curious as to whether that guy's coming back in those terms again, or whether that was just a, month-long run of phenomenal play that doesn't really represent what he's capable of becoming.
You've made the point, though, when they don't have John Brown,
yes,
this offense, so when they don't have that full array of playmakers, the offense has looked different. And one of the things that we've loved about the Bills, repeating it every week, is that trio of receivers plus adding Gabriel Davis to the mix. When you have Cole Beasley, John Brown, and then Stephon Diggs, you have answers for the defense. Just as I keep saying, hey, balance on offense is throwing the ball to every level of the field. That's what those guys bring to the table, is the ability to attack every single level of the field. So I think that has definitely coincided with Allen's regression just a little bit.
It's interesting, though, that now that you've seen that run of high-end play, it's interesting how it changes your perception about him overall, right? Heading into the season, it's like, yeah, sure, he's capable of these incredible plays, but like the baseline just isn't there, right? He's too inconsistent, makes too many bad plays, just doesn't do that all the time. Can only bring it out for certain occasions and certain plays. And if you're a Bills fan, you're looking at that and you're saying, well, that's the proof he can do it. It's, we see these high-end plays. It's just a matter of time. The development curve is going to be there. He's going to take off and be that guy. And, from our point of view, it's like, well, I need to see some kind of evidence that that's happening. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe that he's just going to eliminate all the bad. Early in this season, we actually saw that evidence. It's like, oh, look, he is capable of that run. He is actually, there is the ability for him to eliminate those bad plays and become that player, at least for a while. So now, even when he's almost reverted back to basically where he was, now when you look at those plays of him, busting through a tackle of a defensive lineman, or the Stephon Diggs game-winning, what should have been a game-winning play, but for the Hail Murray, now you can sort of look on that with a more favorable outlook and say, well, look, if we, he's capable of that again. Like the big plays are there. Now we just need to eliminate it just changes your entire baseline of where you think this guy might be capable of being, because we've seen it. Now I'm just waiting for him to get back to that, or, maybe he just had a run of a month.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that the last 5 games, what's a better indicator of Josh Allen going forward? Here's my question. Is it the first 4 games, or is it the last 6 or whatever it's been?
Right.
Here, 7. What's a better indicator of him going forward? Are you always going to be chasing those top 4? Because he's our number. The whole body of work. He's a number 7 graded quarterback. Mm-hmm. If you said that at the beginning of the season, it's a lot closer to apology letter than it is ripping it up.
Sure.
Right. And I think he's been a pleasant surprise. He's developed in year 3 in a way that the other quarterbacks in that draft class are kind of going the other way. From Lamar to Baker to Darnold, they're all going the other way, and Allen has raised his game, and he's been the best quarterback of that draft class this year.
Sure. And I think critically, even if you eliminate the first 5 weeks, like the good run, he's still better than he was before. Now, it's not much better. Like, it's not dramatically better than he was. And he's A, better, and B, more productive, which I think is probably important somewhere along the line, that even if he isn't actually playing.
But that was expected. Hold on.
Yes.
Let's go back to August. That was expected because of what we're saying about the Bills' playmakers.
Sure. But I think it's still notable and important that he is at least capable of being more productive with the situation improved around him. I don't know. I just think that the Bills, they're an interesting team, because I think if they get into the playoffs, they're built in such a way that they could go on a run. Now, I don't know that it means they will, but if Josh Allen does catch fire and become that player again, the Bills are scary for basically everybody. But it really does rest on what Josh Allen you're going to get. And it's been a while now since we've seen that really high-end Josh Allen.
If you're the 49ers now, and the only way you're preparing for this, the first thing you're doing to prepare for this game is putting on, PSV.
Jim Kelly tape? Oh, sorry.
No.
Carry on.
No. I'm past 1992 now.
Okay.
You're going to premium stats, and you're looking at the Buffalo Bills and saying, okay, where's their weakness? And you go to run defense, and it's a 40, and it's lowest in the league. And their pass rush, their pass rush has actually been really good. They got after it last week against the Chargers. They've been doing that all season. Will the Niners just run all over them? I do think the Bills have been run all over more by power, downhill types of teams this year. And the Niners are your, lateral, outside zone type of team. But I still think if you're going to attack this Bills team and you have Nick Mullins at quarterback, if you're the 49ers, it is going to be a run-first attack where maybe they could try to pop for 150 or 200 yards with their backs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they're going to want to do overall. Whether it means they will actually have success doing that is a different story. The Bills against outside zone are actually not that bad this year.
That's what I mean. They get beat up because they don't have big tackles. They get beat up by power running types of teams, not a Niners type. They
have given up 3.8 yards per carry against outside zone, which is actually a top 10 mark in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like it's they're bad basically up the middle against power, against strength. I mean power, physical power, right? They get overwhelmed and just blown off the ball. The 49ers don't really do that to you. They get you moving side to side, which actually plays to the strength of the speed that Buffalo has on defense. Their problem is missing tackles. Like, if they're going to get to you, they're going to be able to make contact on the running back. The question is, can they bring him down and stop the big play coming after the tackle?
Bills have been one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL the
Yes.
last 2 years. A little bit better this year. So, 1 point spread. Is that right? Do you feel? Does that feel off?
Everything with the NFC West feels off to me. I mean, this is the nomadic San Francisco Travelers now set up in Arizona. I mean, Buffalo should be a better team than this, but every time you write off the 49ers, they shock somebody and beat them, and it's like, no, this team is still, like, the majority of it is a Super Bowl team.
I'm taking the Bills in this one. Here's what I think. I think that number is based off of the Bills trying to give the Chargers the game last week and that being closer than it should have been, and the fact that you just pulled out outside zone numbers, pretty specific stuff, but on the surface it's easy to say Bills, bad run defense, Niners, Shanahan, run game, bad matchup, Niners are going to keep this one closer. I'm leaning Bills, though, on this one. Cover and maybe even win by 10.
Win by 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Buffalo is a better team, so they should win. But as I say, I've given up trying to predict the NFC West.
So you're not going to predict anything?
I'll say Buffalo will and should win, but I wouldn't be shocked if
by 10?
49ers. No, not by 10.
Okay. We're going to get an apology note for you when they
win by 10.
When they win by 10.
Okay.
Thanks for watching the PFF YouTube channel, and if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is push the button. Don't forget everything you get. A little fantasy, push the button. A little green line for the gambling aspects of the game, push the button. College football, push the button. The YouTube channel from PFF.